my shelf above a dusty cover, I see our seasons faintly remaining. The name I used to turn every single day now feels so fragile, it might crumble at a touch. I'm still frozen at the first sentence of those days, smiling like a child, knowing nothing of the parting to come. My heart sinks with every page I turn. Only now have I finally read the cold tears hidden behind the sentence that is you. We still have so much blank space left unfilled. The last page my heart could never reach. What kind of farewell awaits us there? A story frozen without even a single period. Even if I fill it with my broken sincerity instead of it, in the end you'll become a sad full stop I can never read. Even if I adorn you with the most beautiful metaphors, all that remains is a shabby confession smeared with ink. The final chapter I left empty for you has become an old narrative that no one reads anymore. As time flows, the letters of your name grow clearer. So why can't my fingertips reach that very page? The silence I wrote down instead is left there. Finally, our ending written with tears. Oh, my dear one, always missed, even after reading until worn out. Closing this final chapter, I bury you in my dreams. Words that never reached. I love you. At the end of a weary day, on a bench where sunset rests, we sit side by side in a profound silence. When your leaning shoulder enters my sight, the world's noise fades away like a miracle. Carefully resting my heart upon that space, I feel I finally found where I belong. Your shoulder is small, yet it's the vastest land to me, the place that quietly holds my trembling life. Words are no longer necessary now. Your breath spreading through the air is enough. My heart resting on your leaning shoulder is soaking deep along your warmth. The heavy burdens of yesterday, the anxieties of tomorrow, burying them for a while in this small gap. We stay here, becoming each other's gravity. Sometimes I know your shoulder is trembling a little, how hard your day was, even when you smiled so strong. Now it's my turn to give back the karma you gave me. I'll embrace you with my most fragile parts. The more we lean, the closer we become, becoming sentences that fill each other's blanks. Even if the darkness rushes in and erases our shapes, the sensation of touching your shoulder is so clear. Even if all the lights in the world go out, I won't get lost as long as I'm by your side. My heart resting on your leaning shoulder is soaking deep along your warmth. The heavy burdens of yesterday, the anxieties of tomorrow, burying them for a while in this small gap. We stay here, becoming each other's gravity. That leaning on someone is not weakness but a profound trust. That even my tears on the edge of your shoulder become the most beautiful stars of this night. Our sincerity resting on these leaning shoulders is being engraved deeply into the time of eternity. No matter what season passes us by, let's promise never to lose this warm temperature. You and I leaning together are perfect today. My heart is still on your shoulder. We've been stroking each other's covers for a long time. Why is it so hard to start the very first sentence? The words I want to say keep piling up on the spine. Between dusty secrets and cautious touches, our secret languages are locked in silence. What kind of story is waiting for us? A happy ending or a painful afterglow? In this moment where fear and curiosity intertwine, I keep fiddling with the first page of the book called you. Like a book we haven't read yet, we stand here hiding our inner hearts. I wanna get to know you slowly, page by page, but I'm afraid my clumsy touch might wrinkle your heart, so I just hold you dearly in my arms. Sometimes I see the sadness hidden between your lines, your own little calmness tucked away behind sentences. I wanna add footnotes to you that others can't see, so that I alone can understand the seasons you've endured. Between us frozen, with a bookmark tucked in, I think it's finally time to move on to the next chapter. I wanna be your final sentence. I won't let you go no matter what plot twist comes. Your world filled with the most beautiful metaphors. I wanna fill it with my most truthful words. Like a book we haven't read yet, we stand here hiding our inner hearts. I wanna get to know you slowly, page by page, but I'm afraid my clumsy touch might wrinkle your heart, so I just hold you dearly in my arms. Opening the cover of the heart that was closed, finally our own story begins into a strange landscape that no one has ever read before. The one and only original that you and I will write together. Now we become a book we write together, recording each other without missing a single moment. You who are always new, even if read until worn out. I wanna love you deeply with all my life. May the final chapter of this book never come. Like a book we haven't read yet. Like a book we haven't read yet. The flashing neon signs, the burning crimson sunset, they were all just dark gray shadows in my eyes. A world that lost its color was so serene. I lived locked away in that terrible stillness. Then suddenly, unable to blend into the crowd. I found you standing there in the same hue as me. In your eyes lies a sadness I know too well. On your fingertips touches the shade where I once dwelt. Without forcing any color upon one another, we simply gaze at each other's resembling voids. To you, resembles my grayscale. No grand rhetoric or fancy words would be needed. Somewhere between the black night and the white dawn, we become each other's only density. Quietly filling this empty canvas together. Sometimes it feels like the world of primary colors is mocking us, our pale sincerity that belongs nowhere but on this path where I walk side by side with you. More than vivid red, more than brilliant blue, this calm gray comfort lets me breathe again. We love at the deepest level with the lowest saturation. Even if our shadows overlap, the color doesn't change. It just becomes a slightly deeper sense of rest. Even if the world loses all light and turns to ash, I wanna stay beneath your shade forever. To you, resembles my grayscale. No grand rhetoric or fancy words would be needed. Somewhere between the black night and the white dawn, we become each other's only density. Quietly filling this empty canvas together. Having no color means we can be anything, layering my sincerity upon the background of you, filling the outline of me with your soul. We now become the one and only brightness that doesn't exist in this world. To you, resembles my grayscale. I give this unfinished sentence as my final gift. Since we can recognize each other even without light, embracing this great promise that will never fade. We flow into our own quiet ocean, my color resembling you. We stay right here. At the edge of a neighborhood I've never been to before, standing at a strange bus stop where even the sign is faded. While waiting for a bus, not knowing which one to take, I looked up and caught your gaze. The dusty afternoon sunlight settled on your shoulder, and it felt like every clock in the world stopped in that instant. We don't know each other's names. We're just one of the many passing strangers. But in the glance that met for a split second, I read 10,000 sentences. Why does this strange place no longer feel lonely? Making eye contact at a strange bus stop, a miracle that the word coincidence cannot explain. In the brief moment of looking at each other without a word, it feels like we've already passed through countless seasons together. Only the nameless wind passes quietly between us. The headlights of the bus rushing from afar are emitting light to tear us apart. At your small gesture of checking the bus number, my heart is already preparing for a goodbye. The conversation we've never had even once has already become a long novel flowing in my chest. In that short moment, the bus stops and the door opens. I wonder what you were thinking while looking at me. The most familiar gaze met in the strangest place. I remember the warmth of this moment that will never come again. Making eye contact at a strange bus stop, a miracle that the word coincidence cannot explain. In the brief moment of looking at each other without a word, it feels like we've already passed through countless seasons together. Only the nameless wind passes quietly between us. I didn't ask where you were going, just the fact that we were here in this moment was enough. Tomorrow we'll return to our own daily lives, but in my eyes, the signpost named you still remains. Making eye contact at a strange bus stop, that short record will sustain my long day. Watching the back of the receding bus, I think I finally know where I need to go. A fleeting encounter, as sweet as a dream. Goodbye, my beautiful stranger. Through the white mist spreading by the window at dawn, I reach out to find your warmth that felt so close. Even the heated conversations we once shared now turn into cold vapor, brushing against my cheek inside this gray curtain where I can't see the end. I've lost my way, called you, and stand here alone in this density of farewell where I can't see an inch ahead. Our seasons scatter without a single sound. Even your last breath of sharp shards from the empty space you left. The paths we walked, the scenes of the cafes we visited, are hidden by the mist, drifting away like a phantom. Time will eventually clear this fog away, but I have no courage to face the desolate view left behind. Those days when each other's body heat was the whole world. We held each other tighter, refusing to let go, but like the warmth escaping through clenched fingers, the breakup struck us without any warning. Our temperature scattered in the mist. Where did our burning love cool down? Even when I shout your name toward the invisible you, only cold silence and my soaked heart return to me. I'm afraid that once this mist clears, I'll truly be alone. Don't vanish, rather trap me inside this mist, in this grayish room where I can still feel your scent. When the sun rises, even your traces will wither away, and I'm not ready to let you go just yet. Our temperature scattered in the mist. Now it drifts in the air like a letter that can't be sent. Behind my footsteps, heavy and soaked with tears, our story fades away without a final period. Goodbye, my one and only warmth. Cold, the mist of that day. Above our time, tucked away deep inside the drawer, white dust and a strange date have been written before I knew. Our freshest laughter and our burning promises, now they fade in color, racing toward the end. The fragments of this heart feeling as if they'd crumble at a touch. I bury them in my chest again, unable to throw them away. That even the love I thought would last forever has an expiry. The seasons flowed by without anyone teaching me. The touch of your name at my fingertips has grown cold, and the numbers of farewell now fill my vision. Standing alone at the end of memory's expiration date, I'm holding on to our memories as they decay. No matter how hard I try to turn back, the temperature is already changed. Knowing I must throw it away, why do I still hold on to the edge of this collapsing heart so tightly? When your familiar scent slowly becomes a stranger, the scenery of the streets we used to walk has worn out too. The last page of the diary we wrote together is empty, yet time heartlessly tells me to turn to the next page. Spoiled emotions turn into poison, spreading through my body. I'm still lost, unable to forget the sweetness of those days. The dates to be erased are branded in my heart like a mark. Even if I try to look away, the end I must face is here. As much as it was beautiful, it's now more miserably distorted. I've arrived at the final station of the record called us, standing alone at the end of memory's expiration date. I'm holding on to our memories as they decay. No matter how hard I try to turn back, the temperature's already changed. Knowing I must throw it away, why do I still hold on to the edge of this collapsing heart so tightly? Will you truly become the past once today is over? Will any ingredient of you remain in me tomorrow? If only this memory could turn into dust and vanish, would I finally be free from this long pain? On the very last line of memory's expiration date, I finally put a period with my trembling hand. You who were everything to me, despite the scarred memories, I'm letting you go now, to the other side of flowing time. Please let us remain there without any more pain. Expiration date passed, the time's called you, that I must now discard. Sentences that couldn't dare to leave my lips are hanging precariously at my cold fingertips, swaying, the unspoken confession having lost its way, drifts through the air and sinks back deep inside me. Whenever I face the tender hand you reach out, my sincerity hides under a depth that's once been deeper. A distance where I can feel your warmth as if I could touch it. The words I want to tell you scatter between my fingers. The transparent boundary between us that feels like it'll break if I speak. I'm lingering around today, as if drifting on that edge, the drifting of a short confession on my fingertips. The heart that couldn't reach becomes a wave circling around me. That common phrase, I love you, why does it become space I've grown used to becomes a gentle ripple, slowly filling the gaps between you and me. When my eyes, which I tried to avert, meet yours, I hurriedly press the card sincerity back beneath the surface. Waiting is now like a long tunnel lacking oxygen. The words clustered at my fingertips are now fading to white. I could reach you if I took just one more step, but my cowardly fingers keep hiding behind my back. Maybe we are at our most beautiful just as we are, in a parallel orbit of confessions that will never be delivered. The drifting of a short confession on my fingertips. The heart that couldn't reach becomes a wave circling around me. That common phrase, I love you, why does it become such a heavy and deep ocean, blocking us and making me suffocate? Could this small vibration that started at my fingertips one day reach close to your heart? Even if it's a confession, like scattering bubbles, I'll linger by your side, enduring the weight of this truth. The drifting of an eternal confession on my fingertips. Your eyes look like you already know, even if I don't say it. When your hand like a miracle takes hold of mine, finally my confession stops its drifting and falls into a quiet sleep, embraced by the sea that is you. My drifting heart, may it reach you. Standing before the mirror, looking closely at my body, deep traces of unknown origins are engraved upon me. Where did I get hurt? Since when did it start to ache? Tracing them back, they are all the moments I spent with you. Burns from the hottest summer, frostbite from the freezing winter. Passing through those seasons, I have become entirely a scar named you. Marks that stand out more vividly the more I try to erase them. Your name is already embedded in my skin, despite the ointment I apply. Because the pain is the memory and this scar is you. I tenderly caress the pain that has failed to heal. The scar of passing through the season of you. A cruel medal that will never be erased. Deep in my chest, a valley of sorrow carved deeper, because it was so beautiful. Within this trace that still stings as time flows, I am still season. On rainy days it especially itches and throbs, a longing that flared up, unable to be washed away by rain. Others point fingers, telling me to just forget it now. But if even this scar vanishes, I'll have nothing left. This terrible cycle of festering and healing repeatedly is the only evidence that a part of you. The scar of passing through the season of you, a cruel metal that will never be erased deep in my chest, a valley of sorrow carved deeper because it was so beautiful. Within this trace that still stings as time flows, I am still living, holding on to you. In that season, they say living is the process of gaining new scars, but for me you are enough. I don't need any more seasons until this wound turns into a callous sentence. I will stay here silently, enduring the pain called you. The scar left behind by the season of you, a cold beauty that has now become a part of me. Even on the day this wound turns into a star and shines, I will proudly embrace your traces engraved on my body, and love the season called you, that will never truly end. It still hurts here, the scar that is you, my everything. Was the ticking of the clock always this loud? The furniture is losing its place, one by one, on the edge of the bed where you stayed. When the sunlight shines, your shadow blooms again like a lie. Behind the dark warmth that feels reachable, if I stretch my hand, I stack up the unspoken words again today. Your faint scent soaked into the wallpaper. The more I try to wipe it away, the deeper it spreads. This empty space, haven't swallowed the cold, stagnant air of the room. I see your back, never once turning around, following the faint moonlight streaming over you. I write down the unspoken words line by line, knowing what kind of period the slight tremble of your shoulders predicts. I cannot even dare to breathe deeply. Your curved lines drawn in the darkness, how much sorrow I haven't read lies within them. I reach out as if I could touch you, but your back is already prepared to depart for another season. Reading your back all night long, it's filled only with sentences of farewell, a weight of rejection clearer than the words I love you. Unable to turn the final page, I hold on to only your shadow until the hazy dawn arrives. Your steady breathing heard occasionally sounds like the strangest foreign language in the world to me. Lying together, but are we walking on parallel lines that can never meet at the edge of different dreams? My time trapped behind your narrow back is becoming an old footnote that no one reads anymore. A silent outcry flowing over my closed eyes. Even if I wanna hold on, your warmth slips through my fingers. Will you truly become a stranger? Once this night passes, I still have so much to say behind your back. Reading your back all night long, it's filled only with sentences of farewell, a weight of rejection clearer than the words I love you. Unable to turn the final page, I hold on to only your shadow until the hazy dawn arrives. As the blue dawn slowly rises outside the window, I know it's time to close this book now. When your back touches the sunlight and shines brilliantly, I finally stop the act of reading you and quietly step out of the room. The back of you I read for the last time. I leave my long-held love there as a final period, our ending blurred and stained with tears, the one I will always miss, even if read until worn out. I bury the records of this long night behind your back. I read you all night long. Goodbye, my last sentence. At first it was so heavy, I could barely breathe. Whenever the empty space you left pressed down on my shoulders, I barely endured each day, gathering my collapsing heart. Those days when the terrible pain felt like it would last forever. But isn't it strange, as time flows by, this heavy air feels just like my own skin. It's no use trying to throw the shadow of you that has become a part of my body. The weight of longing that became familiar before I knew you are quietly dissolved into every step I take. Sorrow is no longer a scream, but a breath I've even forgotten. Silently embracing this loneliness that was once overwhelming. I walk again through today with no end in sight. Is my shadow on the windowsill a bit darker now? Because the traces of you piled in my heart added more weight. Others easily say that time is the medicine, but for me, living with you in my heart is easier than forgetting you. Before I knew it, I felt comfort within this darkness. Longing for you has become the start and end of my day. The edges of memory have worn smooth, but the sense of weight inside keeps holding me fast. The paradox where farewell fades, but you become clearer. I cannot bring myself to let go of this heavy piece. The weight of longing that became familiar before I knew you are quietly dissolved into every step I take. Sorrow is no longer a scream, but a breath I've even forgotten. Silently embracing this loneliness that was once overwhelming. I walk again through today with no end in sight. It's not happiness that sustains me, but perhaps it's this heavy sincerity toward you. If this pain pressing down on my shoulders disappears, I'm afraid that I might truly disappear as well. The weight of longing that will be forever familiar. I intend to carry you for the rest of my life. It doesn't hurt anymore. You just feel substantial now. Until the day I finally lay you down at the end of this path. I want to walk silently with the weight that is you. The familiar weight of you. My every breath. There were days when we tried so hard to match each other's pace, believing we were perfect, like interlocking gears. But when did it start? Those microscopic cracks appearing. A small misalignment became a deafening noise, crashing over us. Trapped within these grease-stained hours, we became broken devices, merely spinning in place toward one another. I try to wind the spring, but it won't take anymore. The more I force it, the more sharp fragments fly up, standing precariously on the tip of the frozen clock hands. I only rewind the memory of the hour when we shone the brightest. We frozen inside the misaligned clockwork, a lonely prison where we can neither move forward nor go back. Even as rusted promises echo like screams, we fail to find each other's center, getting preserved forever within this frozen silence. The world beyond the clock flows brilliantly, but only our season is trapped within this cold metallic room. It's the reflection of me in your eyes, just an old part that no longer functions. I try to smile, but only a harsh friction remains on my lips. Standing hand in hand, we are slowly oxidizing away. Even in the pain of the broken needle piercing my heart, I cannot bring myself to discard this broken time. Sincerity's leaking through the misaligned gaps. In the end, were we just gears that could never truly reach one another? Is the only home I've ever known. We left between the shattered clockwork. Only now do we look at each other fully. It's okay if we don't move, if in the stopped moment we can remain as the most painful beauty. I wanna fall asleep with you forever in this broken clock. Frozen time, you and I. An afternoon where the grayish sky collapses down. Rain falls as if to swallow every noise in the world. The nameless flowers by the road, the footprints someone left. They vanish without a trace, washed away by the heartless rain. But it's strange, the letters of your name carved deep in my chest. They overflow more vividly as it rains, hurting me more. Though I walk through the rain, trying so hard to erase it, only cold streams of water soak my body deep in my heart. Your name that spread like ink has become a stubborn brand that no storm can wash away. The only name that couldn't be washed away by the rain. Within the pouring longing, I read you once again. To become a sad island, wishing this rain would never end. Heavy silence settles upon my soaked shoulders. The space under the umbrella we once shared is now empty. I believe the rain was a thankful screen that hides my tears, but instead it only reveals the truth hidden behind washed away pretenses. Even if the river of time takes everything to the sea, only your name flows backwards, staying in the deepest part of my heart. When the sky cries, I feel I must cry along with it. Like spreading paint, you dye my whole day in shades of gray. The name I can never call again rises to the tip of my throat. I hide behind the sound of rain and call you in a whisper. The only name that couldn't be washed away by the rain. Within the pouring longing, I read you once again today. Even if every memory in the world is carried away by the tide, the address of you embedded in my heart will never fade. I've become a sad island, wishing this rain would never end. If the rain eventually stops and the sun rises, will the scar of you shine more brilliantly under the light? Or will it remain like sediment, unable to be washed away, becoming the only weight that burdens me for the rest of my life? Eternal name that couldn't be washed away by the rain, a cold pain that has now become a part of me. In this desolate world where every trace has been erased, I sustain myself using only the name of you as my guide. Even if the rain stops, I will live submerged in the tide of you. A name that won't be erased, even if the rain stops, still here. Two p.m. The sunlight on the window is the same as always, but a musty smell of metal vibrates between us. In the screeching friction whenever we pick our words, our once shining conversations are crumbling down. Like the sediment settled at the bottom of a cold coffee cup, our Sunday is rusting away like that from the corners. Even when I pull back the curtains, the room is still dark. The me reflected in your eyes no longer smiles. Where did it start to go wrong? The gears getting misaligned. The more we touch each other, the blacker our fingertips are stained. Our rusted Sunday, those brilliant promises are oxidizing and shattering, like an abandoned bicycle left behind as time passed by. We can no longer move forward anywhere, standing still in this heavy silence. resenting each other. The familiar TV sounds, the meaningless laughter. We're trapped on our own islands, just fiddling with our phones. The moment we realize being together is lonelier, the peace of Sunday turns into sharp shards, piercing our hearts. People outside are still living their dazzling weekends, but our time alone has frozen like an old film. The more I try to wipe it away, this heart spreads like a scar. Now each other's warmth is chillingly cold. The words I love you just drift around like ghosts now, as we each prepare the period called farewell. Our rested Sunday, those brilliant promises are oxidizing and shattering, like an abandoned bicycle left behind. As time passed by, we can no longer move forward anywhere, standing still in this heavy silence, resenting each other. When tomorrow comes, can this rust be washed away? Or will we live forever trapped inside the Sunday? If only we could completely break into dust, and maybe we could finally let each other go. Our Sunday that will rust forever. Goodbye to your dazzling season that I loved, now holding on to us who feel like we'll shatter at a touch. I slowly cast us away to the other side of flowing time, our last holiday that will never shine again. Someday, rusted Sunday, everything's crumbling. Yesterday's conversations left lonely on the dining table. Your trivial jokes that once made my stomach ache with laughter now give off a fishy scent like moldy bread. We avoid each other's eyes, just flipping through old channels. Those sweet words that once allowed us to breathe, why have they now become a stinging poison in my mouth? I try to smile, but the corners of my mouth twitch convulsively. No following sentence attaches to your joke anymore. The swallow of laughter rots inside my chest. We're deceiving ourselves, calling each other's tragedy a comedy. We trapped inside a joke past its expiration date. Our fresh love is already emitting a stench. Damp sincerities that missed their time to be thrown away are being kicked around aimlessly at our feet. Why doesn't the curtain fall in this theater when no one laughs? Your dry lips throwing a familiar joke. Was that a scream from someone unable to endure the silence between us? Where did it start to spoil our validity, period? Even that common joke about things being fine tomorrow is now something I'm afraid to touch, like rotten fruit knowing the end. We're still forcing ourselves to act out the laughter. Boring quarrels repeating like a dull comedy routine. What are we doing on the stage where there's no longer an audience? Spoiled emotions fill the entire room as we are other, practicing our final lines. We trapped inside a joke past its expiration date. Our fresh love is already emitting a stench. Damp sincerities that miss the time to be thrown away are being kicked around aimlessly at our feet. Why doesn't the curtain fall in this theater where no one laughs? Even if I take out our beginning from deep inside the fridge, and it's already changed beyond recognition. When the hardest confession becomes the coldest joke, we finally face the ending of this play. The very last letter of a joke past its expiration date. I now put a period with a long sigh instead of laughter. As much as we were beautiful, we've spoiled even more foully. Letting go of each other's hands, we walk off this empty stage. Our worn out humor that will never make anyone laugh again. It's not funny, this joke. Everything's spoiled, you and I. Yesterday's conversations left lonely on the dining table. Your trivial jokes that once made my stomach ache with laughter now give off a fishy scent like moldy bread. We avoid each other's eyes, just flipping through old channels. Those sweet words that once allowed us to breathe. Why have they now become stinging poison in my mouth? I try to smile, but the corners of my mouth twitch convulsively. No following sentence attaches to your joke anymore. The swallowed laughter rots inside my chest. We're deceiving ourselves, calling each other's tragedy comedy. We trapped inside a joke past its expiration date. Our fresh love is already emitting a stench. Damp sincerities that miss the time to be thrown away are being kicked around aimlessly at our feet. Why doesn't the curtain fall in this theater where no one laughs? Your dry lips throwing a familiar joke. Was that a scream from someone unable to endure the silence between us? Where did it start to spoil our validity period? Even that common joke about things being fine tomorrow is now something I'm afraid to touch like rotten fruit. No, in the end, we're still forcing ourselves to act out the laughter. Boring quarrels repeating like a dull comedy routine. What are we doing on the stage where there's no longer an audience? Spoiled emotions fill the entire room as we We are lying side by side without a word. The wounds I gave you and the traces you left on me, those sharp curves have now become familiar pillows, sharing warmth as if confirming each other's pain. We lie down like that, resting on each other's scars, seeking sleep. Unhealed pain flows through my fingertips when I touch them, but I cannot take my eyes off those wounds. The evidence that we loved wasn't happiness, but perhaps these stains of each other left so vividly. Lying down on each other's scars, we call this terrible sadness our only sanctuary. Even if your festering wound pierces my chest, I'm afraid we'd be nothing without this pain, leaving our collapsing hearts leaning on each other's scars. Tomorrow we might claw at each other again, but for this moment, even this pain feels tender than the world outside the window where the rain falls. This bed full of scars you left looks safer. Even if these marks turn into calluses over time, I still want to touch your blood-stained sincerity. Your distorted confession standing out in the darkness, I trace those sentences one by one with my fingers, a destination for our deepest, lowest depression that could never be reached with beautiful words. Lying down on each other's scars, we call this terrible sadness our only sanctuary. Even if your festering wound pierces my chest, I'm afraid we'd be nothing without this pain, leaving our collapsing hearts leaning on each other's scars. Don't vanish if even these scars are erased. I might truly never be able to find you. When the sorrow we share fills this room, only then do I feel that I am alive. Lying down on each other's scars forever, we stay here acting out a farewell that never ends, where the most painful part becomes the warmest pillow, destroying each other, yet saving each other again. In this pitifully beautiful, scar-filled night of ours, leaning on the scars, it keeps hurting, yet I'm falling asleep. An afternoon where even the cicadas lose their strength. The damp breeze creeps in through the open window. That summer, when we love most passionately, lost its shape, trapped within the relentless rainy season. That stain spreading silently in the corner of the wallpaper. Was it a foreshadowing of a farewell we failed to wipe away? I try to rub it with a dry towel, but it won't go away. Instead, memories soak up the moisture and dig deeper. The season of us I thought would vanish when the sun shone remains in the humid air, suffocating me. At the end of summer, within the stain left by the rainy season, I'm still lying down with my soaked body, waiting for you. The world prepares for the dry autumn again, but why is it still raining inside my room? The trace of you that becomes clearer the more I try to erase it. The umbrella we used together is rusting in the corner of the hall. I still hear the sound of you walking inside my wet shoes. A changing season might be a beginning for some, but for me it's just the stain of you growing wider. This moisture of the heart that won't dry no matter how I try is now taking root in my skin, consuming me. The musty scent of longing I've grown used to. I dream of summer again, trapped inside that smell. Fragments of the sun I thought were all burnt out are shining coldly upon the stagnant rainwater. At the end of summer, within the stain left by the rainy season, I'm still lying down with my soaked body, waiting for you. The world prepares for the dry autumn again, but why is it still raining inside my room? The trace of you that becomes clearer the more I try to erase it. Will the stain fade as more time flows by, or will it only end if I tear this whole room down? Summer is gone, but I still can't take off these drenched clothes. Through the stain of the rainy season left forever, only now do I sing a song to finally let you go. Even if it's a messy farewell, remaining like a scar that we were there within those burning streaks of rain. I'll try to endure this season without forgetting. The stain won't dry. Goodbye,